Hiya and welcome to today's video in which I'll be going through my thoughts on Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery a year on. In many ways, this is a continuation of my Hogwarts Mystery review a month on video, so if you'd like to see that, the link is here. I'll be talking through the same points, adding opinions to the ones I mentioned almost a year ago, and just generally discussing the game. First of all, character customization. I find it wonderful that they've been adding more and more hairstyles and clothes through the challenges that have been happening pretty much constantly. There have been a few days here and there where they haven't been happening, but pretty much constantly there is a challenge for a new item of clothing or a hairstyle or glasses or accessory or something like that. Or even pet skin. In this regard, I also really like how many new pets there are, how they've been added, and the creature reserve as well. That's fantastic. I love interacting with the creatures, and the creature design is really amazing. It helps you visualize creatures from the Fantastic Beasts textbook in a really nice way because they're almost movie realistic, but not quite, and they still feel real for the Harry Potter world. The characters, last year, looking back, I was praising them quite highly. I think they're maybe not as good as I described them as most characters only really have 2 or 3 defining traits, and everything else seems to be whatever the story needs it to be. So Andre likes Pride of Poetry and can do fashion, and J. Kim is doing banned item trading, but also has a detention in the kitchens with you. And these characters only really have a few individual traits to each of them, which I can see why, because it's difficult to keep up with a lot of traits for video game characters, especially if it's a mobile game that you can only really play at around 10 minutes at a time before you run out of resources, and there are so many characters in the game that it's understandable. The plot, in all honesty, because the game isn't completely finished, I've been kind of forgetting the plot a lot, because a lot of the time I just do lessons to level up my free traits and get more diamonds. So I haven't really been keeping completely up to date with the plot. As in, I've played through it, but I don't remember a lot of it, especially if the updates come a few weeks between each other. And I'm not very sad about that or anything, because I understand that it takes a lot of time to create this game. It just makes my memory slightly worse during it. And the plot is on a little bit too long in year 5 in my opinion. But again, I've been playing with these massive gaps between the parts of the story, so I might just be not, understanding it clearly. What I'm trying to say is the plot could be improved, but it's great for a mobile game and definitely feels like a Harry Potter story because it's almost too similar to Harry Potter. I don't hate that. There have been more features added, as I said, the creature reserve, and dueling only very recently is available even if the dueling club isn't on. I'm sure there's other things that I've forgotten now that have been added, but that's been very enjoyable. I especially still like the dueling, it's just rock, paper, scissors. And the trivia questions, there have been some more and they have been getting harder, so I've also enjoyed that. The layout of the game is still very enjoyable. I do get lost sometimes through it, but not for very long, and I'm still not quite sure how true it is to the books or movies, but I accept it as Hogwarts in Hogwarts Mystery. Other thoughts, I think it could be connected to Pottermore. I don't think it'd be that big of a stretch, and it would be much more enjoyable. That'd be another thing that Pottermore has to offer, another thing that Hogwarts Mystery has to offer. They'd be kind of co-supporting each other, and your Hogwarts house could be there, your wand could be there, which is something that I mentioned in my previous video about how my wand doesn't match up. My house obviously does, because the question was, which house would you like to be in? And then you got sorted into that house. But if it was linked to Pottermore, I think it'd be that much better. Peeves has been brilliant. He's just been getting better since the last video, and I'm really enjoying his presence in the game. I suggested that maybe there could be diamonds for special days like September 1st. Haven't been, but the diamonds from the in-game events have been very nice. I've been enjoying that. I bought as many pets as I could. Year 2, Chapter 9, being Wizards Unite, I'm still fascinated by. At the time of recording, there isn't too much concrete information about Wizards Unite. There is the Google pre-register and the bottom article, but not much concrete information. No date, though it is probably June. We'll see more about Wizards Unite, probably in the meantime between I'm filming and when I'm uploading. So if there is anything, I'll put that on the slide here. There are still some great tiny nods to Harry Potter and pieces of trivia that are only mentioned once in Harry Potter, but I've kind of got stuck in my brain from Hogwarts Mystery, things that I just repeated over and over again. This has been very enjoyable. I like anything that improves my Harry Potter trivia, even though I do know probably too much already. I mentioned in my previous video that my scarf disappears between normal time and lesson time, and now I've put 2 and 2 together. In fact, shortly after the video was released, I've put 2 and 2 together that any accessories or any normal clothes you're wearing will be taken off for lessons and you'll be in uniform because you're in lessons. So I understand that now. I didn't then, but it makes so much sense. I mentioned also that the lessons are kind of repetitive. That's kind of been fixed. There have been more things added to the lessons and more trivia questions, so they're not as repetitive. I do tend to do them mostly mindlessly though, apart from choosing the reward, but it doesn't matter, it's only 2 minutes per lesson. I said that the characters seem a bit recycled from the Harry Potter characters, and again, I'm still not sure if that's just the case with any story. I haven't hyper-analysed anything else like that. The Fantastic Beasts characters seem quite different to the Harry Potter ones though, but I guess the point of this game is to feel as much as Harry Potter as possible, even though it's a few years prior. So I don't hate it because I can differentiate the personalities of the different characters slightly now because they all have their own 2 or 3 traits. It would be maybe nicer if we got to spend a bit more time with each of the characters and not just have the 3 types of question you're gonna have in the 3 broomsticks or in the courtyard or in the Great Hall. If the questions were a bit varied, as in if there were like 2 types of things they talk about. For example, Charlie Weasley only tests you on dragons in the Great Hall, but there could be something else he tests you on. I'm still very curious to see what happens after A7. I don't think there'll be anything that continues because the game isn't actually finished as we speak still, as far as I'm aware. The amount of time it takes for them to create each new chapter, I don't think it'll be worth it for them to continue after year 7, so there'll just be some sort of nice ending, hopefully animated in the style of the opening to kind of come full circle, but we'll see when they finish it. What I mean by the game not being finished is I played through year 1, maybe year 2, and a little bit into year 3, I think, without having any times where there hasn't been enough gameplay for me. But then around the start of year 3, or maybe midway through year 2, I don't exactly remember, there were periods of time where there was no gameplay to continue. I could only do lessons, and it's gotten to the point where I've been playing in year 5 since the 3rd of September, and I'm near the finish line but not quite there yet. So I don't mind, because I'm aware that it takes a long time for the game to write the story and then program it and get the drawings exactly right. But it's just been a while that I've been playing in year 5, and it'd be nice to finish soonish. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. I really do hope that you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye! In many ways, this is a continuation of my Harry Potter review. In many